So you think you don't need to save? Well, think again. There is a harsh reality to not saving and to not having enough for the future. And in this video, I'm going to try and explain what options you have open to make it that little bit easier to get started, as well as to highlight some of the benefits of creating a more disciplined approach to saving. Welcome back to the channel, and if this is your first time, a very warm welcome to the Economies channel, where together we're going to be learning the language of money and wealth. We're also dedicated to mastering money and to make financial wisdom available to all. Hi, my name is Simon and I'm a chartered financial planner here in the UK. In our previous videos we have stressed the importance of taking those very first important steps to get going on your savings journey, as well as offering some very helpful and practical tips to create an emergency fund. If you missed it, don't worry, we're going to put a link in the description below. The Greek philosopher Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Therefore, excellence is not an act, but a habit. As usual, let's start with some statistics here in the UK. About 37% of us have either got no savings or less than £1,000 in the bank. What that means in reality is there are about 11.5 million people in the UK who've got less than £100 saved. The average savings per household is about £17,300. But there's a disconnect here because this is the average savings across the UK, which will also include those people with a lot of savings. So this figure not only distorts the amount that people have saved, but it will also highlight the gap between the haves and the have-nots. 65% of the UK population have stated that they could only last less than 3 months without borrowing money. I'm going to explain the state of the UK savings market in much more detail in a future video, but here's a spoiler alert. It sometimes feels like we're all hanging on by the tips of our fingernails, and the outlook is deeply concerning. But on a more positive note, if you've already got your emergency fund saved in place and you're wondering how to kickstart your savings journey to the next level, well, you're in the right place. I'm going to go through a savings calculator later in the video, and hopefully you'll be able to follow along and try it for yourself. So let's get going. Let's explore the power of saving, and this video is obviously tailored for beginners. So why save in the first place? Well, it's not just about having extra cash. Saving is a fundamental step towards your own personal financial security. The Money and Advice Service reports that having savings gives you a level of financial freedom, but it also reduces stress in emergencies, improving our overall well-being. So saving is more than just a good habit, it's a pathway to a peace of mind. The key to successful saving or forming any positive habit is consistency. Even modest amounts saved regularly can grow substantially thanks to the magic of compound interest. After all, Albert Einstein once called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. He went on further to say that those who understand it earn it, and those who don't pay it. According to a Barclays study, people who save regularly are likely to be happier than those who don't. So remember, it's not about how much you save, but also about how often you save. And we're going to leave the links to both the Money and Advice Service as well as a Barclays report in the description below. This is why it is so important to pay yourself first each month and to set up a direct debit with a regular amount, and that will take away all the inconvenience of remembering to save on a regular basis. Now, I will be the first to admit that we're all living in a cost of living crisis, and it may be hard to save or even consider saving a small amount. However, in previous videos we talked about checking your essential and lifestyle spending patterns. Have you found anything there that can be scaled back and perhaps used for saving? It's also powerful if you have a reason to save, as you can always then remind yourself why you are saving, why you're being disciplined, and that's going to allow you to stay focused and not be tempted to look for reasons to stop or even dip into your savings. Now here's a general savings approach which we call the 50-30-20 rule, and what that means is this: about 50% of your net pay should be spent on essential spending such as your mortgage or your rent, utility bills and council tax. So 30% of your income should be spent on lifestyle spending such as the holidays, running a car, eating out, having a little bit of fun and a little bit of mischief. That means 20% should be then set aside for long-term saving and investing for your future. Another rule of thumb is a guide to how much you could have saved by a certain age. And this is as follows: about 1 times your salary at age 30, about 3 times your salary by age 40, up to 6 times your salary by age 50, and 8 times your salary by age 60. However, regardless of the amount you save, it's the disciplined approach that matters most. Now, all this at the moment may seem impossible at first, but as Nelson Mandela once said, it always seems impossible until it's done. Believe me, your future self will thank you for it. Thankfully, in the UK, we've got several great options open to you. I'm going to create a summary to compare and contrast these options at the end of this video, so please make sure you watch until the end. And by the way, if you're finding this video useful, please consider hitting the like button and subscribe. So, where to start? Term deposit bank accounts can be a good starting point. They are likely to limit any withdrawals without a penalty, and that's going to remove some of your temptation to dip into the savings. Individual savings accounts, or ISAs, and the junior ISA both offer tax-free saving opportunities within annual limits. That's $20,000 for the ISA and $9,000 for the junior ISA. These are allowances which are based on every tax year, and they're on a use it or lose it basis. So when they are gone, they're gone forever, as you cannot backdate them. A general investment account can be a good choice for those of you with a little bit more experience, and if you're willing to do the research and select the investment funds, but also to check them regularly. And let's not overlook premium bonds, which are backed and guaranteed by the government, offering secure investment options, and they've got a maximum threshold of £50,000 per person. I mean, premium bonds are a little bit different because unlike bank accounts, no interest is paid. Instead, you've got the chance to win some big prizes in a monthly prize draw, where you can win between payouts of £25 and £1 million, and all these winnings are paid out tax-free. There's also a range of savings options with National Savings and Investments available from your post office, as well as online, and you can start with as little as £1. And remember, the Financial Services Compensation Scheme is there to protect your savings, and they will protect you up to £85,000. But it's worthwhile remembering that's per financial group, not each bank. But that does allow valuable safeguarding to protect your hard-earned money. And this protection will rise to £170,000 for joint accounts. Have a quick look at this graphic, which explains the savings thresholds and limits, which also include temporary balances of up to £1 million from either the sale of a property, an inheritance perhaps, and that will be available for up to 6 months from the initial deposit. I'm also going to put links to the website for the Financial Services Compensation Scheme in the description below. And let's not forget pensions, both personal and your workplace pension, as these are crucial for retirement planning. I'm going to be covering these in detail in our next video, so please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any content. I'm often asked if your personal level of savings will affect the amount of state pension that you receive. The thinking is that you might be penalised for having too much savings when you retire. Well, the answer to that is a resounding no. You do not get penalised, as your state pension entitlement is based on your national insurance record and not your level of savings. Well, at least not yet anyway. We will cover the state pension in a separate video, as this is a very important foundation in all our retirement planning. Now, savings isn't just about knowledge, it's also about overcoming our own emotional and behavioural biases. For example, have you ever heard of present bias? That is when we're willing to settle for a smaller reward now rather than be patient and receive a potentially larger reward in the future. Stanford University in the US carried out a study on this delayed gratification way back in 1972, where they carried out a very famous marshmallow test. This is where researchers offered children a marshmallow, which they could either eat there and then, or if they could resist the temptation and not eat it, they would be given an extra marshmallow when the researcher came back after a period of time. Now, there are a lot of very cute videos on YouTube recreating this friendly experiment, so if you do have a chance, check them out later. Now, recognising and countering such biases can significantly enhance your saving habits, and therefore create excellence created by good habits, which Aristotle was referring to earlier. Now, long-term saving allows you to build a robust financial foundation. It prepares you for emergencies, it helps in achieving life goals, and ensures a comfortable retirement. So the earlier you start, the better. So, what's stopping you? Think about beginning your savings journey today. It's never too late to start, and the benefits are just too good to ignore. Try and take control of your financial future, starting with that very first important and positive step towards saving for the future. Now, I promised to look at a savings calculator, so here we go with the graphic above. Now, at the beginning of the video, I did promise we would go through a savings calculator together. So if you just follow along with me, I will include the link in the description below. I've done this on a personal nature, and Phoenix Life have got a very useful calculator. So sandwiches and snacks, I'm guessing that's going to be around £3.50 a day. Takeaways, I'm thinking about £50 a month. I'm not a fan of ready meals, so I've put 0 there. Meals out is about £100 a month, and that will cover the odd meal out with my wife or a Sunday lunch. Tea and coffee, well, that varies of course, but I'd like to think about £10 a week is fair. Bottled water, no. Alcohol in a pub, well yeah, I do go out with my friends, so about £100 a month I would guess. I do have the odd drink at home as well, that might be £75 a month. I don't smoke, but I am partial to the odd cigar, so that might be £50 a month. I do play the lottery, so maybe £5 a week I think would be fair. Cinema, now and again, about £10 a month. Obviously don't rent films, don't buy music either. But I do like buying magazines and newspapers. And I might spend £20 a month, especially for the Sunday editions. So according to this, about £7,157 and change is what I spend out of my net pay per year. So just think of the nice little nest egg that could start building up if some of this money was put into a savings plan. Do you think this is fair and accurate? Why don't you have a go at doing the savings calculator yourself and let me know what your spending is in the comments below. So here is a brief summary of today's video, which is a call to action to start the very good habit of regular savings, and also to refresh your memory about what options are open to you as a home for your savings. 37% of the UK have got either no savings or less than £1,000. Now the average savings per household is about £17,000 a year. But this figure is clearly distorted by those with very high levels of saving. So in reality, this is likely to be a lot lower for the majority of families. 65% of the population could only last less than 3 months without borrowing money. It's not about how much you save, but how often you save, and those first steps are often the hardest. Aim for the 50-30-20 rule. Start small, be consistent, and work up to saving 20% of your income for the future. There are many savings options open to you, which can be both flexible and tax efficient as well. Make the power of compounding interest work in your favour, allowing you to build not only a strong foundation, but a more secure future and a pathway to a bigger peace of mind. So what's your saving goal for the year? Let me know in the comments below. So if you like what you hear and you like what you see, please consider giving it a thumbs up and hit the like button. We are going to be sending out videos like this on different topics every week, so please subscribe so you don't miss any content. And finally, this is your channel, this is your voice. So if you've had a positive or a negative experience, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much, thank you for your patience, and we'll see you again next week.